What's up everyone? Today we'll talk about Bakkt mostly, and there are some interesting news and basically like general fundamental things to talk about, but just a couple of words about the price and what is happening. It's nice that we still hold $3,600 because it's a very important level to stay above, so it confirms sort of a bullish trend, or at least we didn't fell again back, or even like 30 or 50% from the this range. So it's confirming that we're consolidating, we're preparing for the new move, and since we're basically in the upright, like in the rising trend, then we would expect to move upwards. And technically, again, you can look at the sort of formation, which is technically a bullish pennant or bullish flag, whatever you look at it. But and like strictly speaking, if you will see the breakout of this pattern up to the upside, you would expect it to go to the level of its height initially. So it's probably something like 3,940 or 50. But well, guys, first of all, you should realize that we've seen this many times before. For example, even here, okay, this was pretty much played out, but this one, no, it went down. This one, well, later, but still it didn't work in the beginning. Or for example, this one, it was to the upside, we had a quite of the consolidation, but then we went down. And then this was down, we didn't go lower, we went up. So because this is pretty much of the manipulative moves, you wouldn't expect it to be maintained, driven by the overall market. It's some huge players who are driving the price up or down. So I wouldn't really pay attention to those patterns, because like a lot of the people are saying, okay, we'll go here because of this and that. Even if we'll make a breakout, I wouldn't be really risking to buy based on this pattern, because you see, with such manipulative moves, we can like make this rise to whatever it is, 3,700, and then go back down. So it's really hard to predict on that way. So we basically would have to deal with only like major psychological levels and general trends, and especially with the low volume which we have right now, it's really hard to like expect certain moves to be predicted based on TA. So be careful, guys. I must say though that we are probably invalidating this triangle right now, because we're pretty much far from that, and volume was here quite strong, so we can basically remove that. But this line is actually now still remains, and it remains as a support. So if we'll go down, then we can use it as support eventually. So maybe some pullback of that from that line will happen. And the major triangle is here now. It is in the place, so we'll continue to trade within that for a while until the breakout. And personally, I would still expect it be broken upwards, because still the momentum is here, and the markets seem to be returning back and like rotating and like revolving 180 degrees, and a lot of the accumulation to the downside. Now we have to like cover this accumulation back to the from the upside movement perspective. So that's it from the technical analysis point of view, guys. Really nothing to tell more. So anything else is pretty much speculation, apart if you will talk anything else about that. So let's see how this line will react with the price, if price will go, and how the $3,600 will hold again, and whether this triangle will be broken one way or another. So now let's look at the news from the Bakkt, and this is the article from CCN, which is basically saying that the owner of New York Stock Exchange said Bakkt is our moonshot Bitcoin bet. Well, there are a lot of things said here, but generally I would say that I think a lot of people don't really even realize what Bakkt is and why it is so important. And also some like devils is in details, as we say. First, what is Bakkt? Bakkt is the company which is backed actually by New York Stock Exchange and the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, and ICE owns and operates the New York Stock Exchange, right? So as well as futures exchanges and clearing houses in the States, Canada, Europe, and Asia. It's like one of the biggest financial companies in the world, if not the biggest. I'm not sure. So and of course, we must know that ICE has decades of track record and reputation in the traditional finance sector, as well as the authorization by the Commodities and Future Trading Commission (CFTC) to operate as a designated contract maker with the ability to self-certify a future product. And future product for Bakkt is one of the key points. Because actually what is difference between the futures supplied by Bakkt and previously open futures for Bitcoin? Actually, Bakkt will offer also retail payments, futures, saving plans, wallets, and insurances, so it's much bigger, and it will be provided for like huge institutions, for big players. And that is why the effect on the liquidity on the market is just tremendous. But the difference between the standard futures and Bakkt futures is that the Bakkt futures will be backed by the actual Bitcoins. So like it's written here, for example. So when we have the futures contract from Bakkt, then in order this contract to be operated, we need the actual Bitcoins to be stored on Bakkt account, and Bakkt deposits. So you can imagine, so if a really huge institution or just some middle-sized institution would like to make a future contract from Bakkt, then Bakkt would have to store, buy, or even or at least have those Bitcoins on their balance in order to make this future contract operate. So if Bakkt will not have those Bitcoins, I would assume they have some already, but if they will not have enough, they would have to buy it somewhere, OTC or even maybe spot market, which would eventually will make the price go up. And taking into account the size of the players who would open the futures contract, I think that this effect must be big. And the interesting point is that the chairman of New York Stock Exchange, Jeff Sprecher, is also the CEO of ICE, this huge, amazingly huge company, financial company. And this guy is not only bullish on Bitcoin, but interestingly, he has a wife, and his wife is Kelly Loeffler. Kelly Loeffler is CEO of Bakkt. Can you imagine? So she is. So unless Sir Sprecher wants to get divorced and make his wife have some problems, but unless that, probably he wouldn't risk his reputation and his family's reputation and run something sort of quote-unquote scam as Bitcoin business. So guys, considering all of that, and like there are other things like Bitcoin here to stay, he said, and everything, considering all of that, I don't think that we will see some fall or some fail of Bakkt and basically their mission. Moreover, there are a lot of companies who invested in Bakkt, and they have actually now the second round of the financing, and again, like Pantera Capital and other huge companies will invest, and eventually I believe that we'll have a lot of the profits. So if you are an accredited investor, I think it's not that bad idea to invest in Bakkt. Moreover, they are continuing to hire and continuing to make more partnerships, and they actually made their first acquisition done. This is the Future Commission Merchant Rosenthal Collins Group, RCG, and yeah, they are just pushing it forward and forward. They're doing all things which they need to make that successfully run. So I don't have any doubt that they will do like it in a proper way. So probably they just need some, again, this is another news. Crypto tax bill clears first hurdle in New Hampshire legislature. You remember Ohio accepts tax with Bitcoin, and also Wyoming is had this law which states that cryptocurrencies has a status of money. So, and one more, and like together we just talked recently that 17 states already made something like this, and it is like an avalanche, like a snowball. We will see that happen more and more. Just my personal opinion, not financial advice, guys. Don't take loans and go buy bitcoins, but you see, this is what we have right now in the space of cryptocurrencies. And actually, like, of course they need like 1, 2, 5 years, maybe more, to put everything on the proper rails. But it's not, the bureaucracy, those regulatory process have very strong, huge inertia, and it's really hard to push them in a different direction. But eventually it will happen. Eventually it will happen, and we'll see very strong, very impressive progress in this field. Eventually, I think that we will see using Bitcoin as we are using the credit cards now, just the usual thing, right? So that is it, guys. I hope that you get some optimism from me right now, because I look at that in a very positive way. So I think it will be, I'm not sure, maybe March, whenever, maybe like second half of 2019 they will launch. I think actually sooner, and then we will see some real price action, from which we'll really happy. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow in the next update, and safe trading. Goodbye.